People who fetishized a city or country, like New York City or Japan, and then actually took a leap of faith to move there. How has your opinion changed since? Not as popular, but Greece. My maternal grandparents are Greek. It's a big, loud, friendly group, and had been my entire life. I had a several month long gap before grad school and a great aunt willing to house me, so I moved to Patras. The first few weeks were wonderful. I did all the tourist things, then I realized how forced all of it was. You can't just ever have a friend over, it has to be a major production. The food was wonderful, but every contractor or small business I interacted with took it at a point of pride to tack on added fees or try to scam me. I was stolen from multiple times. The older people, particularly the men, had no personal boundaries at all, and their wives would hand wave off anything. Everything public that wasn't intended for tourists was falling to pieces. It was just very sad considering how proud I had been of my Greek roots until then. I dreamed of living in New York City as a teen. I was drawn to the theater, the fashion, the excitement. Now I've been living in New York City for about 13 years, basically my entire adult life, and I still love it, but my appreciation has changed. A lot of the things that initially attracted me require lots of money, but I've discovered so many new things and met so many wonderful people that I don't miss the loss of that fantasy. I still feel a thrill when I go running over one of the bridges and see the skyline. I love not driving and being able to find practically any food or specialty shop I want. I'm very plugged into the arts here and love to go to live music, readings, lectures, art shows, and performances, so many of which can be enjoyed for little or no money. I definitely see how city life doesn't appeal to many people, but whenever I think of leaving I can't imagine anywhere I might like better. Los Angeles, the city where dreams come true. Growing up in a small rural city in SoCal, I would dream of being in a place of tall buildings, bustling energy, and all-night excitement. I moved here 10 years ago, and it is much different than expected. Expectation: I'd see celebrities everywhere. Reality: they are everywhere but mostly just want to be left alone, and aren't that exciting in person. Also, I get diarrhea of the mouth, and have never said anything good. Exception: Janice Dickinson once sang happy birthday to my husband in a very breathy Marilyn Monroe way. Expectation: everyone is working on something major. Reality: everyone is working on something that they think is major. Your Uber driver, the homeless guy down the street, your landlord, and your boss. Everyone wants to talk about or recruit you for their next big thing and can pay an exposure. Exception: I do see a lot of people I know on TV, and that's cool, but I also know that they are also just as skint as I have been. Expectation: anything can happen at any time. Reality: terrible things happen all the time. Waiting at a crosswalk while the guy next to me pulls down his pants and starts pooping on the sidewalk. Dodging a psychotic weirdo swinging a 2x4 without skipping a beat. I have deleted the Citizen app because of too many alerts in my neighborhood. Exception: I have lucked into gigs that I was in no way prepared or worked for. Expectation: it's expensive. Reality: it's really fucking expensive. Exception: few to none. Sometimes I get free drinks. Expectation: it's full of fake people. Reality: it's full of people trying to make rent. Some of those people are fake and still trying to make rent. Exception: there's a strong undercurrent of working class people who just want to work, go home, watch The Office, and eat a homemade meal. LA is not as bad as people warn it is, but it's definitely not all Beverly Hills. Even Beverly Hills isn't as good as Beverly Hills. It's dirty, it's hectic, it's gentrifying fast, but it's something different than home at least. I'm an American, was a serious Irish dancer my whole childhood. I also play music. I wanted to move to Ireland and go to university there, and I did. Overall, it was a great experience, especially in terms of local music/dancing and opportunities to learn more. But also I hated my degree program and ended up studying abroad and then transferring to a school in Canada where I'm much better settled. I still pinch my pennies to go back to Ireland and visit my friends and stuff, but I'd never ever live there long term again. Also, I hate cold rainy weather and had asthmatic reactions to mold, so Ireland's climate was actively trying to kill me the entire time I was there. Good times. No regrets, but also wouldn't repeat. I was obsessed with Japan when I was in high school and my mum sent me there for an exchange year. At the time Japan was known as a country with advanced technology, and I had read that the taxis had doors that opened for the passenger. I thought it would be something like the Back to the Future / Tesla Model X doors. The biggest disappointment was that it was just a lever the driver pulls and it's an ordinary car. I had also read up a lot about a culture of perfection, where even stray leaves were removed from gardens, meals were perfectly balanced to the seasons, people were modest and crime was low. As a 16-year-old schoolgirl I was molested twice walking home, my wallet was stolen, my host family preferred eating McDonald's, they had televisions running in every room of their house every waking hour, and I was made fun of for reading books. I was supposed to be there for a year, but was so homesick I left 3 months early. To be fair, a lot of that was because of my host family, we were pretty poorly matched. I later went to work in Hokkaido when I finished uni and had a great time there as the people are a lot more relaxed. I also really liked my school and particularly my tea ceremony teacher who was an amazingly talented and kind lady. I now work for a Japanese company and my colleagues and boss are great. It was Finland for me. Rather weird country to obsess about, but I started learning the language in high school and fell in love with the culture. Went there for an exchange and was shocked at how close to paradise it was. Beautiful nature, friendly and helpful people, good quality food and more humane pace of life. It helped that I lived with a wonderful host family in a small town. The people you meet are a huge part of your experience in a place. Best part was getting to learn more Finnish. TLDR, Finland was exactly what I fantasized it would be. Paris, France. I studied French for a long time and eventually moved here to do my master's degree. I do love the city itself, always something to do, amazing museums / art / culture / architecture, and even though like all cities it can be crowded / dirty sometimes, I still enjoy it. The thing that gets me is how hard it is to get to know and become friends with the French, Parisians in particular. They are perfectly polite, but if I didn't have a strong foreign student friend community here it would be much more difficult. There are always exceptions of course. I have a handful of good French friends, but a big factor in why I don't think I can stay in Paris in the long term to settle down, maybe somewhere else in France would be better, is that the coldness can really wear you down. That, and also the bureaucracy. It's unreal. I'm from Canada, and I moved to France. It was incredibly overwhelming, and I didn't last long. I was also pretty young and hadn't been to Europe before. I applaud myself for giving it a shot, but I'd like to go back and create better memories. Edit. I didn't stay in Paris. I went directly out to Normandy. It was beautiful, but I was placed with a family that wasn't particularly sensitive to the fact that I came all the way from North America. They had other students stay with them from Europe, but I was the most foreign. Portland, OR. It was great for a while, when the rent was cheap and the house I moved into was still populated by friends. After 3 years, the last of which all my friends had moved away, I realized that Portland is a really fun city, but also that cities in and of themselves are not for me, and that they are only bearable for me with friends. It was a great learning experience, if you can call having your car stolen and broken into all the time learning. At the initial cost, $300 a month for a room, it was fantastic. Working 4 days a week and paying all my rent with tips. Golden way to end one's 20s. It's a great city to visit, and the burbs aren't bad at all. I just got jaded and raw from living downtown. I'd gladly live there again if I had friends around and didn't have to park on the street. You can only convince yourself that a place is awesome for so long when you're by yourself and stepping over hobo scat and broken auto glass constantly. Seattle, WA. Spent my first 30 years living up and down the eastern seaboard from PA to GA. I was in grad school in SC and inexplicably Seattle just popped in my head one day, no trigger or anything. For the last 6 months of school, 2003, it just consumed me. Sight unseen, I needed to be there. So that's what I did. Got my degree, packed up my car with no job, place to live, or contacts and drove to Seattle. It could very well be a self-fulfilling prophecy, but it was everything I wanted it to be. The city has changed quite a bit with the Amazon explosion, but I'm glad I got to live some old Seattle. There's still plenty of treasure to be mined. Sure, the luster is gone, but I have a family now and still love to explore the city with my daughter. All my old haunts are gone, but the fun now is finding new haunts. It's what we make of it. I wanted to go to New Zealand since I was 10 and my best friend moved there. I finally went when I was 25 and got a 1-year working visa. It was awesome. I met my husband there and saw my old friend again. It's still great. I would live there if they'd have me. Thanks for watching this video. If you already subscribed, thank you very much. Public daily new videos, you can check previous videos.